Welcome to the Fantasy Addiction Network. Today we are talking Week 16 preview of the Bengals and the Dolphins. Over/under in this one is 46.5, and the spread is even, meaning this is anyone's game. It really is a kind of a depressing matchup from an NFL standpoint. You got two teams that have been pretty atrocious all year playing for draft picks basically at this point, but don't really have much to lose here. When you have two underperforming teams with bad defenses, that typically can lead to a shootout, and from fantasy perspective, we don't really care about the outcome of the game. We just want our players to do well. So I think this one lends itself to a pretty high scoring affair with a decently high over under and no implied spread. There really shouldn't be too much game scripting out here. I think this is a good game for fantasy options. So players that I'd be willing to start in this one would be Andy Dalton, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Joe Mixon, Patrick Laird, Tyler Boyd, DeVante Parker, John Ross, and Mike Gesicki. Not really second guessing anyone here, but I'm not going to start Albert Wilson, Alan Hurns, Isaiah Ford, Tyler Eifert, or either defense in this one, as I really do think this one will hit the over. This should be a nice little junk shootout to end the year in a junky fashion. So looking at the Bengals, the Dolphins give up the fourth most points to the quarterbacks, and this is likely a junk shootout, so I think you can start Dalton in 2 quarterback leagues in DFS. Probably not going to roll him out there as my main quarterback if I only have one quarterback that I can start, even though this is a good matchup. I just don't want to bank on relying on Andy Dalton, but if I have 2 quarterbacks that I have to start, I think he makes a good second quarterback option. Running backs, the Dolphins give up the 3rd most points to the running backs on the season. Now, there is one thing to note. It looked like Joe Mixon came up with a calf injury on the report yesterday. I believe he was limited in Thursday's practice, but overall, if it doesn't look like there's any sign of him missing this game, Joe Mixon should be top 5 running back on the week. I love Joe Mixon in this game. Start him in every lineup that you can. Wide receivers, the Dolphins have allowed the 2nd most points to wide receivers all season and have only gotten worse as time has gone by. I think Tyler Boyd is a must start this week, and you can also take a chance on John Ross. Both of them give you a tremendous upside and a decent floor, and I think John Ross actually has a high upside chance at scoring a big touchdown, so he's a good DFS play, but Tyler Boyd should be started in all seasonal leagues where you got him. Not starting any Bengals tight end in this one, and just based on the nature of this supposedly being a high-scorer game, I don't want to start either defense in this one. Looking at the Dolphins, the Bengals have been better as of recent against the quarterback, but in a likely junk shootout, I don't really care too much about the pass. I think Fitzpatrick becomes a very good play in this one. And then on the season, the Bengals are 9th in points allowed to the quarterback, so if you look at the whole year, they haven't been great. It's just been the past couple of weeks. Running backs, the Bengals give up the 6th most points to the running backs on the season, so I think Patrick Laird is a good start this week. Yes, he disappointed last week, but I'm expecting a rebound. I think he could sneak into the running back 2 range this week, especially in PPR leagues. On the wide receiver side, the Bengals have been pretty stingy against wide receivers all season, but you can't quit on DeVante Parker now. He's been matchup proof up to this point, with the exception of the game that he's had a concussion. He's been absolutely dominant in PPR leagues, and even in standard, he's scoring enough touchdowns to make him worth the start. I'm starting Parker here, and I'm avoiding every other receiver on the Dolphins. On the tight end side, the Bengals are decent against the tight ends, giving up 8th least to the tight end all year, but the Dolphins need another red zone target other than Parker. I think Gesicki is due. He's remained a viable target in the red zone for most of the season that he's played with Ryan Fitzpatrick, so I think he remains a decent DFS option and a desperation play for those in need, but carries a decent chance at scoring this week. Again, I'm not starting either defense in this one because I'm expecting this game to go over. Couldn't really tell you who's going to win. I'd probably say I would just bank on the Dolphins winning, being at home, but I do think it will be a high-scoring game in which there will be a lot of fantasy points scored. So enjoy this one for what it's worth, and hopefully some players here can help you win those fantasy titles. If you guys have any questions, feel free to post them down below. Love to help you guys out. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to like and subscribe for more content, and we'll see you in the next one.